everybody, my name is Liliana. I'm with San Mateo County Libraries, and today I will be walking you through a STEAM activity called Marker Chemistry. So before I begin, I want to explain my setup to you. Today I am working from my kitchen. I'm sitting at my dining room table, so I'm going to have two cameras set up. One where you can see me, and one where you can have a close-up view of my table so you can see what I'm doing as I work through the activity. So let me set that up right now. And there we are. Okay, so for marker chemistry, our goal is to investigate and to discover how different substances interact with water. So the substances that we are testing are different types of marker ink. So we'll be testing different types of markers that are made with different types of inks, and we're going to find out how they interact with water, and then that's going to help us learn which ones are better suited for different purposes. Okay. So for the activity, the materials that you will need are a piece of foil paper. So you can see I've got mine already cut here. It's about the size of a cookie sheet. So let me hold it up so you can see. So go ahead and get your piece of foil. You might need to ask an adult to help you cut that out. So again, the size of a cookie sheet. Okay. Next, you're going to need some water in a container that you can pour from. So I've got just a recycled plastic bottle here where I filled up with water. I really like this bottle because it's easy to pour from, and we're going to be pouring the water out today. So go ahead and just fill up any container. It could be even just a cup of water, anything that you have that can hold some water that you can pour from. Next, because we're working with water and it might spill and we might need to clean it up, you want to have a towel nearby. Totally okay to make a little mess when you're learning some science. But you want to be prepared and you want to have your towel handy in case you need it. Finally, you're going to need 3 types of markers. So I've got a few here just to show you that they can all look a little bit different. So the first type of marker you're going to need is a regular marker. So you probably recognize these from maybe art projects and drawings and colorings that you might do. So you just need one of these. I'm going to use this one today. And mine says Crayola on it. Yours doesn't have to say that. Crayola is just the brand. It's not the type of marker. It's just the brand. So your marker could be any brand. Doesn't even have to have a brand on it. As long as it's a marker that you use for coloring, that's the kind of marker you want. Okay. Next, you're going to need something called a permanent marker. Now again, I've got lots of different kinds of permanent markers here. You can see that some are different colors, some are different sizes, and again, they are all different brands. So the brand does not matter, the color doesn't matter, the size doesn't matter, as long as it's a permanent marker. I'll be using this one today. And finally, you'll need a dry erase marker. So once again, different size, different color, different brand, doesn't matter, as long as it says dry erase, as you can see here. Okay, and in case you're not sure what a dry erase marker is, we normally use these on something called a whiteboard. So you might have seen a whiteboard maybe in your classroom or at the library. It's just a big board that's white, and you can write on it or draw on it using a dry erase marker. Then you can erase it, and you can write and draw again and erase it, and you can do that over and over again thanks to this marker. So once again, you'll need a regular marker, dry erase marker, permanent marker, any color, any size, any brand, doesn't matter. Okay? So once you've got that, then you are ready to go. All right, so the very first step is to create a tray out of your piece of foil paper. So to make your tray, you're going to want to fold up the edges and just kind of make a very soft little crease. It doesn't need to be a really hard crease, because if you press too hard, you might tear the foil. So just really nice, gentle crease, make a good line there. And do that on all 4 sides. Okay, next, we are going to be pouring water in here, so we don't want it to spill, meaning we need to create some corners to hold the water inside. So to make your corner, you're going to take 2 sides of the paper and bring them together until they meet. Once they meet, you're going to fold the little flap in. You're going to press, 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 press. Until you've created a corner, as you can see here. I'll give you a quick view of that. All right. So again, let's do that again on the other side. You're going to bring the pieces together, fold, and press, press, press. Okay? And do that 2 more times. Bring the paper together, fold, and press. More. Bring it together, fold, and press. And there we are. So you can see I've got a little tray here. I might press down in the center to flatten it out a little bit. And that's it. So one thing I want to mention as you create your tray out of foil is that, for me at least, this is not something I do every day. So it's probably the same for you. We don't make trays out of foil paper every day. So it might take you a few tries to get your tray right. It might even take you a little bit of time. So if you need to pause this video and just take a moment until you create your tray, that's okay. If you need to ask somebody for help, that's okay too. Okay, so just be really patient with yourself as you learn. All right, once you've gotten your tray finished, you're ready for the next step. So the next thing is for us to draw a stick figure in our tray using each type of marker. We have 3 types of markers, which means we're going to have 3 stick figures. Before I draw it on my foil, I'm going to show you how to draw it on a piece of paper. Okay, so a stick figure is just a really simple drawing that represents a person. So to start, I do a circle for the head, a long line for the body, 2 short lines for the feet, and 2 short lines for the arms. Super simple. Give you a close-up view there. Okay, really easy drawing. Yours does not have to look exactly like mine. The beauty of drawing and creating art is that everyone's is unique. So go ahead and take a moment. Practice if you need to on a piece of paper like I did. And when you're ready, you're going to draw them on your foil paper. Keep in mind as you draw not to press too hard. You want to be really gentle as you draw, because if you press too hard, you might make a hole in the foil paper. And that's not good because then water is going to spill through and we'll need to start all over and make a new tray. Okay, so go ahead and draw your stick figures. Circle for the head, line for the body, 2 for the feet, and 2 for the arms. I'm starting with the regular marker. The order does not matter. You can do this in any order you want. Next, circle, line for the body, 2 for the feet, and 2 for the arms. Finally, my permanent marker. 1 for the head, 1 for the body, 2 for the feet, and 2 for the arms. Okay, I'm going to leave my markers up here so that I remember which type of marker I used for each stick figure. Okay, great, and now comes the really fun part. So we are ready to pour water onto our tray and see what happens. So as we add some water, well, actually before that, let's take a guess. I want us to just take a moment to make a guess about what we think is going to happen to each type of ink when we add water to it. So this is called making a hypothesis. So what do you think will happen when the water goes over the regular marker? I don't know. My guess is, you know, it's blue, so maybe it's going to make the water blue. We'll see. What do you think will happen when the water goes over the dry erase marker? I don't know. Maybe nothing's going to happen. What do you think will happen when the water goes over the permanent marker? Maybe part of it's going to get erased. I don't know. We'll see. So take a guess. Take a moment to take a guess. And then when you're ready, take your container with water, and we're going to pour water off to the side of the drawings. So you don't want to pour right over, but to the side, and just let the water roll over. As the water is rolling over the drawings, make sure you're paying really close attention and you're looking at what's happening. Share what you see happening out loud with somebody. And this is called making observations. So we're going to observe what's happening. Here we go. Oh, wow. Okay. I only put a little bit of water, but I saw that my drawing with the regular marker started to just disappear. Not kind of disappear, wash away, I don't know. Let me add, oh, and I see that my dry erase person is starting to float. It's starting to, it looks like it's peeling off of the foil and it's kind of floating around in the water like this. So let me add some more water and see what happens. Whoa, okay. Okay, this is really fun. All right, so my person with the regular marker is gone, and I can see that it looks like it became part of the water because now the water looks blue. So that means that it dissolved. That means it broke down and it became part of the water. My dry erase person here is just all over the place, literally. So the ink has lifted up off the foil and it's now sitting on top of the water and it's moving around up there. So that means it's floating. It's floating on the water. I'm gonna add some more because I don't see anything happening over here to my permanent marker one. So I'm just gonna add a little more water and see. Okay, nothing. Still, most of my dry erase person is gone. They are floating around. Okay, so what I see happening is my dry erase ink is floating everywhere, and my permanent ink is not moving. It's staying in place, staying still. So pretty cool stuff here that I've just observed. This is the result that I got, but I wonder what your result will be. It might be a little bit different than mine. I will say that I've tried this activity a couple of times, and each time the results have varied just a little bit. So you can give this activity a try a few times. It's called trials. We're trying at different times. You can do that if you'd like as well. But hopefully what you'll notice is that each type of ink behaves differently with the water. So hopefully you'll see that the permanent ink doesn't move, it stays in place. And hopefully you'll see that the dry erase ink lifts and floats on top of the water. And you should see that the colorful marker, the regular marker, just dissolves and washes away. It just becomes part of the water. So really fun stuff going on here. And now that I've been able to see how the ink of each type of marker behaves, I can understand a little bit better why we use different markers for different things. For example, this is my water bottle. If I take it to the park, I don't want to lose it, and I want people to know that it belongs to me, so I might want to write my name on it. But do you think I should write my name with this kind of marker? No, you're right. I shouldn't, because what did I just see happen? It washes away so easily, right? If I put my name on here with this, it's not going to last very long. It's probably just going to wash right off, maybe even with just the heat from my hands and the moisture from my hands. Would I want to write my name using a permanent marker on this bottle? Yes, you're right. I would, because I saw that even with water, this ink stays in place. It doesn't move. It does a really good job of staying on the surface. So this would be a great marker to use for writing my name on something like a plastic bottle. But if I'm at the library and I'm doing some work on a whiteboard, do you think it would be a good idea to use this permanent marker on that whiteboard? No, you're right. It would not, because then I couldn't erase it and it's going to stay on there forever. And I don't think the library wants to have my work on that whiteboard forever. They want to have other people be able to use it too. So a better type of marker for a whiteboard would be this dry erase marker. Why? Because we saw that it's very easy to just wipe away, and this is perfect for that because we can wipe it off and just do it all over again. You might think, well, what about the regular marker? We can use that on a whiteboard too. But you will notice that this type of marker, and you probably see this when you're drawing on your foil paper, it doesn't work very well on smooth and plasticky surfaces because the ink sort of just, it doesn't stick very well on that. This type of ink works the best on paper. This type of ink would be better for a plastic, a smooth surface like foil or like plastic whiteboard. This type of marker, I know I would feel really safe using for any art projects, because if it happens to get on my fingers, you could see here, I've got some on my hand. If it happens to get on my fingers or even my clothes, I know, based on what I saw in this activity, I know that just adding some water or adding water to my clothes is going to probably wash that ink right off. And it's going to wash it away and it's going to be fine. It's not going to stick on. So that's why we like to use these kinds of markers for art projects. Okay, so hopefully you had a lot of fun learning about this marker chemistry. Share what you learned with somebody now that you know more about why we use different kinds of markers for different things. You know how the ink behaves. And really quickly, I'm getting a little bit wiggly because I've been sitting in this chair for a while now. Let's stand up together to do a quick little fun movement activity related to our experiment today. All right, so, oops. There we go, now you can see me. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our imaginations to pretend that we are a stick figure drawn with these different types of inks, okay? So I want you to think back to the activity that you did, and how did the permanent marker, how did the permanent ink behave in the water? What did it do? That's right, it didn't move, right? It stayed still. So we're gonna pretend that we're gonna stay still just like a permanent marker stick figure. Ready? Here we go. Good job. All right, next, let's pretend that we're a stick figure drawn with a dry erase marker. How did this ink behave in the water? What did it do? Yes, that's right. It floated up and it floated around. So we're gonna float around. Ready? Here we go. Floating around because we are made from dry erase marker ink. Floating, floating, floating in the water. Good job. Okay, and finally we have the regular marker. Let's pretend we are a stick figure drawn with this type of ink. How are we gonna behave in some water? Yeah, we're gonna just dissolve and wash away. Ready? So here we go. We're dissolving in the water, washing away and disappearing. Yes, good job. I hope you had fun doing that. You can try that a few more times at home if you still need to get some more wiggled out. Okay, so I have just a couple of ideas for you before we're done today of things you can try at home after this activity. So now that you know how the inks behave, you can have fun creating different scenes or different pictures on your foil. So feel free to get another piece of paper, create a new tray, and maybe you can get really creative and draw a really cool scene. Maybe you want to use your permanent marker to draw a background, and then you can use the other two markers to draw things that maybe can move around or be washed away in your drawing once you add some water to it. Today we drew stick figures, but you can also try drawing different shapes and just kind of watching those move around the water. Maybe you want to draw some hearts or some stars or some triangles and have them wash away or float around on your tray. Give that a try. So have fun with this, be creative, use your imagination. Don't forget to share it with somebody, tell them what you learned. And yeah, I hope you really enjoy. And one last thing is, don't forget to join our Summer Learning Challenge, where you can earn a chance to win a $1,000 scholarship. So you can find more details and sign up at www.summerlearners.org. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had a lot of fun learning about marker chemistry. Keep exploring and have a great summer. Thank you. Bye.